the most illuminating point for me was the point where his knee was never on his neck. Like, that was the narrative we heard. That was what the riots were about. He killed George Floyd. That's what he did. And even though it was a legal maneuver, which the whole narrative was his knee was on his neck. It's kind of like slipping the I can't breathe, and even though the air is coming out, like I try to tell people all the time, if he's saying I can't breathe, he can breathe, and people didn't want to hear that. But that whole optic of George Floyd with the knee on the neck, I distinctly remember that was the narrative that every news organization, every social media, every person I talked to was pushing. And when that came out at trial, like one of the first things they talked about, that his knee was never on his neck. It was almost like a moment for me. Like what? Like that was the whole reason, and you brought up, get me started on the fact that your kid couldn't go to school, but protests were fine. Protests didn't spread COVID. Riots didn't spread COVID. Those were perfectly okay. And the news media was good with that. So the optics of what I thought happened was the most illuminating thing for me when it all came about. That, like, wait a minute, I was fed one video, and that video, from the angle you're looking at, looks like his knee is on this man's neck. And now you're telling me it wasn't, and it never was.